There are innocent signs you raised yourself. Small, ordinary habits that look like personality, but are proof that some people never had a childhood. You had a job, becoming a person alone, with no one checking your work. You taught yourself how to comfort yourself because no one was coming. You taught yourself how to survive disappointment because it kept arriving on schedule. You taught yourself how to be an adult while your body was still years from being one. And everyone around you called it maturity, called it strength, called it being so put together. It was a cover story for something that never showed up. A parent who was supposed to lead and didn't. A house that looked stable from the street and was empty in all the ways that mattered. Today, we're walking through 10 of those signs. 10 quiet proofs that you became your own parent and never got thanked for it. Let's begin. Number 1, you taught yourself everything. Nobody walked you through it. Not money, not relationships, not what to do with a feeling too big to hold. You learned by trial and error, watching other families from the outside and reverse engineering what normal looked like. You built your own instruction manual, page by page, with no one to check your answers. And it worked. You became capable. But there's a quiet cost hiding inside every skill you own. You never got to be taught. You only got to be the teacher. What you built piece by piece is what psychologists call self-soothing, the ability to regulate your own distress without anyone else's help. Except most children develop it gradually with support. You had to invent it alone, ahead of schedule. Number 2, guidance puts you on edge. When someone tries to help you, some part of you tightens before you even hear what they're offering. It isn't ego, it's memory. Advice was never something you could lean on growing up. So it doesn't land as support now. It lands as exposure, like the system you built alone has a crack in it. So you smile, you nod, and quietly do it your own way anyway. Not arrogance, self-preservation. Handing something of yours to someone else's hands was never safe practice for you. Number 3, you parent your own parents. You're the one who remembers their medication, softens the family arguments, checks in on their mood before you've had one of your own. Somewhere along the way, the relationship flipped and nobody flipped it back. People call it devotion. What they don't see it is that it was never a choice you were offered. It was a role left open and you were the only one young enough to be shaped into filling it. There's a name for this, parentification, when a child is pushed into the caregiver role for their own parent. Studied since family therapist Ivan Bazarmenyi-Nagy documented the pattern decades ago. Number 4, you were the mature friend at every age. 10 years old with the emotional bandwidth of an adult. 16, holding your friend's secrets like a therapist on retainer. 20, still the one everyone leaned on, never the one who got to lean. They called you an old soul. What they meant was that you'd skipped a stage everyone else got to keep. Somewhere in you is a kid who never got permission to be simple, careless, or new at something. Number 5, asking for help feels like a last resort, not a first option. Not just directions on the road, directions in life. Asking means depending, and depending was never a language your childhood taught you to speak. So you circle, you struggle, you white-knuckle your way through things you could solve in 5 minutes if you just said, "I need help." It's not pride, it's that the last time you needed help as a child, it either didn't come, came late, or came with a price attached. So your nervous system rewired itself around one rule: solve it yourself, or don't solve it at all. Number 6, stillness makes you nervous, so you fill it with structure, routines, rituals, backup plans for your backup plans. Not because you're naturally disciplined, because nobody built stability for you when you needed it, so you built it for yourself, and never really stopped. Every checklist you run is a stand-in parent. Your morning routine is the steady voice that should have woken you up as a kid. Your 5-year plan is the guidance that should have come from somewhere other than your own exhausted 12-year-old brain. What you built is self-regulation, but self-regulation is meant to grow out of years of external support, not out of a child left alone to design it from scratch. Number 7, you don't trust things that come easy. A compliment with no catch, a relationship with no chaos, kindness that asks for nothing back. Instead of relief, your guard goes up. Somewhere inside you, comfort has always been the setup before the disappointment, because nothing in your early life was free. Safety had to be earned. Love had to be managed. Peace had
had to be maintained through effort. So ease doesn't register as a gift, it registers as a delay. Number 8, proud of your independence and quietly devastated by it. You built a real life out of instinct and repetition. That's rare. Still, at 2 a.m., a part of you whispers, I shouldn't have had to build this alone. The pride is real. The ache underneath it is real too. They're not contradictions. They're roommates, living in the same chest, taking turns speaking. Number 9, you give endlessly and pull away the moment it's returned. You remember everyone's hard days. You show up before you're asked to, but the second someone takes care of you, checks on your day, brings you something when you're sick, you shrink from it, you deflect it, downplay it, hand it back before it can land. It isn't ingratitude, it's unfamiliarity. Giving is the only direction your instincts were ever trained to move in. Receiving is a language you were never taught to speak. Number 10, you grieve a childhood you managed but never actually lived. You kept the house running, you kept your grades up, you kept everyone else afloat, but somewhere in all that keeping, you never got to just be a child. Messy, dependent, unfinished, safe. Picture it. Some ordinary evening, years from now, you'll watch a father crouch down to tie his daughter's shoe, patiently, without a trace of frustration, like he has all the time in the world for her, and something in you will ache, not with envy, but with recognition. That's the moment. That's what should have been yours and wasn't. If you saw yourself somewhere in this, here's what's true. The strength you built is real, and it's yours to keep, but it was never supposed to be the only thing holding you up. Attachment researcher John Bowlby believed children build their sense of safety through dependable caregivers. That security is borrowed from someone steady before you can generate it yourself. When that foundation is missing, many children become prematurely self-reliant because they see no alternative. You were supposed to have someone beside you while you figured life out, not just the adult you had to become before there was time to be a kid. That grief doesn't mean you're broken. It means you survived something most people never had to. Attachment researchers show that children who can't rely on a steady caregiver often become adults who overfunction and under-ask, a pattern sometimes called compulsive self-reliance. Knowing that doesn't undo it, but it means what you're feeling isn't random. It's documented, and that's your permission right now to finally set some of that armor down. And if you enjoy exploring psychology and the hidden patterns behind how people think and feel, subscribe for more videos like this.